Hey guys, welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Bruce and today I want to show you how you can improve your win rate with dividing every game into 3 phases and with exploiting the opportunities which arise. Let's go. I already made a video in which I elaborate on the 3 phases of each game. This video is linked right here and I can really recommend to watch it. In this video I want to explain those 3 phases once again and furthermore tell you how and when you can look for opportunities that you can exploit. We will start with the easy way, exploiting opportunities with a defensive move, but we will also talk about making offensive moves in order to help your team to win the game. If you understand this theory, you will increase your win rate and become an overall better player. Alright, first game with the Panzer IV-S, the German tier 6 premium medium tank. And in this video I want to talk about opportunities and exploiting those opportunities in order to win the game and to make some decisive gameplay. So the first thing I want to basically teach or throw your attention to is, in order to see opportunities you have to follow the 3 steps and you have to understand the 3 steps that apply for every game. As I said, I already made a video about this topic which you might want to watch. So in my opinion, every World of Tanks game has 3 phases. The first phase is the phase from the start of the game until you have every information available about every tank on the battlefield. At least, yeah, every tank on the battlefield. Of course, not only from your team, but also from the adversary team. So in this phase, your goal is to go to an important position. The priority number 1 is to not lose your HP, to maintain your HP as much as you can, because you will need all your HP later on in the game if you want to make some decisive moves in order to win the game for your team, or in order to help your team to win the game. So that's what we are doing right here. We're simply going to this position right here and we're trying to farm this Gabler's destroyer. Nice, we can take him out, and we simply want to maintain our HP as much as possible, and we do not want to expose ourselves. We do not want to play as offensively as the Skoda T25, because right now we do not know how the enemy team is playing and where, let's say, where the majority of the adversary tanks are positioned on the map. Because if we would play aggressively, if we would go to one or another flank without knowing the team composition or the enemy team composition, there's the chance that we will basically throw away our tank because we might get overwhelmed by adversary tanks. Now let's pause here real quick and notice how every tank of the adversary team has been spotted apart from the Stuck 3G, which is most likely playing defensively. So every tank has been spotted, and that is where the second phase starts. And the second phase is the phase in which we know all the enemy tanks or the positions of the enemy tanks, and that's the time where we can see if there are opportunities that we can exploit. And in this video, let's continue right here. So in this video, I want to start with the opportunity of defensive moves, because in this situation, as you can see, the enemy team is pushing over the northern side, and of course seeing opportunities when it comes to defensive gameplay is much easier than compared to offensive moves. But I want to talk about offensive moves in the next 2 games. So in this game I want to simply show you that as soon as you know the team composition of the adversary team, you can react to what you see. And of course you have to have minimap awareness. And in this particular case here, we can see that the adversary team is pushing over the A and B lane, so in the north, and that's the perfect opportunity for us to set up a strong defensive position and to basically defend our base and to stop the adversary push. So that is what we can do right here. And once again, such a defensive move is of course much easier compared to an offensive move. I'm sorry, bro, I need to push you a little bit in order to get a chance, and so that I can use my firepower in order to stop those tanks right here. So yeah, this is much easier, but once again, I will come to offensive moves in the next 2 games. So in this game, we entered phase 2 of the game. We knew all the positions, once again, apart from the Stuck 3, which we know right now as well. And then we could see where we are needed and what opportunity we have in this game, and we relocated. And so we're now setting up a very strong defensive position, and we are holding the enemy push, and that's exactly what we need to do in order to win the game. Because if the enemy team pushes so much that they lose all their HP, then we can simply win the game. And as you can see, 9-4, the game is on the winning side simply because we made a defensive move. Now the third game, the third phase of each game is as soon as the game is won, and I would say that this is right now the time, 10-5, we're on the winning side. That's the case, that's the time, the point in time where you should consciously trade in all your HP in order to make as much damage as possible. And it's very easy with a very mobile tank. It's not so easy with a less mobile tank. For example, with this Panzer IV-S, because his power to weight ratio is very weak. And so in a tank with less mobility, or with inferior mobility I should say, you have to basically lead this decision, because what you want to do is you want to arrive at the enemy positions, at the enemy remaining positions, typically, or in the best case as the first tank arriving there, so that you can not only make damage on your own, but you can also collect all the sweet assisting damage, for example with spotting all those tanks. Now I did not achieve this right here, which is fine. You cannot have a great game in every game, that is fine, but at least you should be aware of those 3 phases so that you can at least try to get the maximum out of every game. So keep in mind that there are those 3 phases. Try to play defensively, try to maintain your HP in the first phase. As soon as you have all the necessary information about all the different tanks, then you can try to see whether there's an opportunity for you. Once again, we will talk about offensive moves in the next game. And then as soon as the game is, is won, then you need to hurry up and consciously trade in all your HP, because there's nothing more useless than being full HP like I am right now at the end of the game without making damage. Alright, second game. This time we play the Leopard PTA, the tier 9 German medium tech 3 tank. We are spawning on Berlin, and once again, as before, we want to try to understand the 3 phases of each game. And the first thing is, I want to maintain my HP. I want to go to a position from which I cannot get pushed out easily. But if you have followed my videos so far, then you know that I want to play in the middle, even with the medium tank on this map. I am a top tier tank, so my firepower is superior compared to most of the other tanks on the battlefield. There are quite some tier 9 and also tier 10 heavy tanks, but of course I will not brawl against them on the heavy lane, so this is fine. And besides that, there are lots of tier 8 medium tanks, and once again my firepower is inferior. So can I take a shot onto those tanks? No. I'm spotted, but maybe I can take a shot. No. You know what? Sorry. Let's fall back and let's play less risky, and let's simply man this position in order to get crossfire to one or another position. Now it's always very beneficial to put yourself in a very central position on the map, because then you can be most flexible, and no matter how the game is developing, you can be engaged in the fight, once again, no matter how the game develops. So once again, first phase of the fight, first phase of the game, we do not know where all the adversary tanks are positioned, but very quickly this will change. And there's only the 1-1 and the T-57 heavy tank. Chances are that those two tanks, T-57 is now spotted on the heavy lane, which is nice. There's only the 121, and let's pause here real quick. So actually, let's not pause here. So there's the 121 not spotted yet, and there's the GSOR 1010 not spotted yet, and the Skoda T50. So we haven't entered phase 2 yet. We simply want to maintain here and see how it is going. So GSOR 1010 has been spotted. Skoda T50 has not been spotted yet. Same applies for the 1-1. Let's see if those tanks push forward. Looks like our heavy tanks are playing aggressively. So chances are that in the next couple of minutes the fight will be decided, and so we need to do something. Now, the only tank which is not spotted yet is the Skoda T50 and the 1-1. So due to the fact that our team is pushing aggressively, I now tried to see an opportunity, and this opportunity is to go right here and to push into the rear of the heavy tanks. Yes, this is a risky gameplay simply because those two tanks have not been spotted yet. As you can see, now they are spotted basically. So let's take a shot onto this tank. Let's fully aim in. Nice. And of course I trade 1 for 1, but he has 280 damage and I'm dealing 413, and this is fine because from their position they cannot push me out. So everything is fine, and now I can fall into the rear of the adversary heavy tanks, which is nice. I can take out this tank. Excellent. And in this situation you always want to reduce guns as much as possible. So yes, it has been a risky gameplay, but all in all, I think this is a good demonstration of seeing opportunities, and I think there was basically a loophole in the enemy front line that we could exploit, and now the game is, or not the game, but the heavy lane is won. Yeah, the heavy lane is won, and then now there's also the game won because it's 8-2, and I think the enemy team will not recover from this decisive move right here in the north. So once again, a decent example for an offensive move once we saw an opportunity, once we entered phase 2, or we were about to enter phase 2, and so a decent example. And most players who are playing the Leopard PTA will simply stand still at the rear of the map and conduct sniping. But this is not the perfect gameplay in my opinion. Look what I'm doing. I'm basically pushing the 1-1. Of course I have support of my team, yeah, fine. But you should not maintain your HP until the end of the game. And I think once we had cleared the heavy lane, I think we had already entered phase 3, in which we want to rush forward as aggressive as we can in order to consciously trade our HP and to make more damage. So in this game, it's not a fantastic, let's say 4K or 5K damage game, but it's a very decent example of the 3 phases of each game, plus seeing opportunities at least as soon as you enter phase 2, or when you are about to enter phase 2, and then of course at the end you want to squeeze out as much damage as you can. So let's see whether we can get another shot. I do not think so, which is fine. But once again, a decent result. And let's now talk about this offensive move once again. Alright, third and last game. This time we spawn in the M6, the tier 6 American heavy tech tree tank, which is one of the strongest tanks right now, tier for tier in the game, at least if you ask me. And I am a little bit worried that this tank will get nerfed in 2025 because it is so strong compared to the other tier 6 heavy tanks. But anyway, We want to concentrate on our gameplay, and we want to once again understand the 3 phases of each game, and we want to see when we, or recognize I should say, when we are about to enter phase 2, because that's the phase in which we want to exploit an opportunity and then make a decisive gameplay. And of course, once we transition to phase number 3, we want to simply push forward and offer all our HP in order to make as much damage as we can. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to maintain our HP. We want to go to a very central position out of which we can be flexible in our gameplay, and we want to see whether we can punish this tank right here. Nice. First 251 damage dealt. Excellent. And so let's see how it goes. Now, meanwhile, we are lobster eyeing not only the minimap but also the enemy tank list, because we want to see which tanks have been spotted already in the game, because this is very important once again to determine the transition from phase 1 to phase 2, and this will allow us to look for an opportunity and to make a decisive gameplay in order to win the game. And I think this is the miracle that differentiates, you know, the average player to the above average player, because the above average player takes all those information that you can collect into the equation and then makes a decisive gameplay once the chance has come. So let's see. So the only tanks which are not spotted is the Tiger 131 and the Type 58 and the Mitsu 108. All the other tanks have been spotted. So of course now you can wait until every tank is spotted, but then, you know, this will be the safe way. If you want to play a bit more aggressively, you can also make a decisive push if some tanks have not been spotted. And that's what I'm doing right here, because the Tiger 131 is most likely on the heavy lane. Same applies for the Mitsu 108. Now I discovered that this tank is standing in the enemy base, which is yeah, a surprise. But you know what? I can simply farm this tank and make damage. Now, Type 58 has now been spotted, and so now I can make a decisive move. You know what? Let's first of all kill this tank. Here you go. And now let's make a decisive move, and let's fall into the rear of those tanks. Meanwhile, the Tiger 131 has also been spotted in the north, and this means that there's no enemy tank, not a single TD whatsoever, who can basically take a shot onto me while I'm pushing out. I would never push out in this position if there was, or if there were any tanks at the rear of the map on the B lane or on the A lane, let's say on the A5 position or maybe on the A7 position, which could take shots onto me, because I would simply move into a death zone and I would get destroyed real quickly. But as I looked at the minimap and as I saw the position of all those tanks, I could make this push. Now, unfortunately, this push has not been successful in the way that our team could not clear this flank. But that's how it is. Sometimes that's how it is, and so I want to simply fall back. I can kill this tank, which is excellent, and now I can help my team to win the game. Now the game is now on the winning side. I already made 2k damage, and now of course we are entering phase 3, and we need to push forward aggressively in order to make as much damage as we can. However, the problem now is that we only have 278 HP remaining, so of course that's a limiting factor, and that means that we have to play a bit less aggressively compared to, let's say, if we had all our HP available. But now finally we could manage to clear this flank, and let's now see whether we can make more damage, because once again phase 3 has already started. So once again, I think this is another example, or this has been another example of how to work with let's say this little theory of dividing each game into 3 phases, and then trying to determine when the transition from phase 1 to phase 2 happens, and then trying to see opportunities and trying to exploit those opportunities. This is a very, let's say, structured approach. See whether we can make a shot. Nice, we can track him. Excellent. And so, you know what? Nice, he cannot use his repair kit. So excellent, another shot onto the tank. This is a very structured approach. However, I think it will help you to increase your win rate because you will exploit those opportunities more often in each game. Alright guys, that was it for today with the video about the 3 phases of each game and about exploiting opportunities. What do you think about this topic? Do you agree with my theory? Do you manage to exploit opportunities at least on a regular basis? Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. And as always, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. This really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. If you find this video extremely helpful, then feel free to support me via Super Thanks. This way you can make a one-time donation. You just have to click this button underneath the video. If you adore this channel and you want to consistently support me, then consider subscribing to my channel or become a member, once again with the click of a button underneath the video. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time in another World of Tanks video.